Today we have with us Amy Mack, who is a candidate for the Vanderburgh County Council at-Large seat. Joining us in the conversation today is Tara Barney, President and CEO of the Southwest Indiana Chamber, and Chris Zirkelbach, who is one of our Government Affairs Committee members. So welcome, Amy. Thank you for running this year, and I'm going to turn the conversation over to Tara.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks for giving us a little time, Amy. We know this is a campaign season like no other, so hopefully our conversation will be helpful. And it certainly is helpful for us to get to know you and your priorities. So I'm going to lead off with the kind of softball question that you always expect. You know, the pandemic has caused budgets to change and shift, and generally not for the better. Right. So I'd be interested to know what priorities you see as worthy of either continuing to hold steady or increasing investment in, and what sort of cuts you might see that would kind of address some of these smaller resource levels that are coming sooner or later to the county.
Sure. Well, just quickly want to say thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be able to get my message out and speak with people. It's finally here. The time is here, and it's what I've been waiting for. So I will say that the county council has had a balanced budget every year for many, many years. They use their riverboat funds for capital projects. They don't use them for operational costs. So I do think that they are in, for this year and for 2021, probably in a better position than what some local governments, both in our state and country, might be seeing. However, I think it's time to really set out long-term goals. Strategic planning of what we want to do with our county tax dollars. An example that I think of is, I think it's amazing what our economic development forums are doing with Talent 2025. And I think that in order to show our support and to really invest in economic development, the county council needs to set some initiatives to what they want to invest in when it comes to the analysis coming out of the 2025.
Well, appreciate that.
When it comes to the things that might get cut or something, I really don't know if I can speak to that right now. I think that I would need to know a little more. I do attend the county council meetings. I looked over the county budget, but I don't think that I'm able to discuss. I don't think that I could say that right now. I don't know enough. We need to know a little more.
That's perfectly understandable. Chris, you want to take the next question? You're muted, Chris. Chris.
You're on mute.
Get on mute.
Yeah, I'm good about turning it off. I'm not so good about turning it back on. The business and civic community has set a goal to increase the total population of the region with the particular emphasis on those in the age bracket from 20 to 34.
Yes.
What sort of programs or infrastructure investments do you believe can be made to help attract more people to the region?
Sure. Well, obviously, good paying jobs, good wages are very important to attract people. And then, of course, your quality of life issues, more walking trails, better, safer, safest that you can get, better parks. And then, you know, if you want them to come here and you want to retain them, it's going to be about working with your schools and having the best education system that you can have, having great hospitals and medical care, health care, to help when they decide, you know, if they want to raise a family here. So you need to recruit them in, and then you need to try to retain them for all aspects of our community. And I think one reason that I am running for office is to make this the best community that it can be. We're raising our 4 kids here, and we want them to stay here. We want them to be proud of it. And I just think that I could help be a part of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll follow on that because that's a good lead into something I'm really interested in. The county council has kind of a significant role in guiding and approving economic development investments in our community. Mm-hmm. And as you look at the things that have come before the council and are likely to, what do you think are the most important things to consider as incentives get granted and managed?
Well, to incentivize businesses to come here?
Yes.
Sure. Well, I think you obviously offer your tax phase-ins. Mm-hmm. You work with both, you can work with GAGE, the Economic Development Coalition, the ERBC on what you want your business to look like. And then the county council can absolutely, again, offer those tax incentives.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I think that is one of the opportunities for the council. We've got a situation here in our region that makes us a wonderful place to be, but we're not growing our wages as quickly as would be helpful to get our quality of place and quality of life for a lot of families to grow. And so I think that, it'll be interesting for the council to be able to kind of influence that.
Sure. And I think, again, they balance the budget every year, but what I would love to see is, again, the strategic planning, the long-term initiatives, make it less transactional and more about bettering our community as a whole. And I think, obviously, economic development is at the top of my list for that.
Thank you. Chris?
Question number 4, what is your priority issue you plan to champion during your term on the council?
Sure. I hate to be a broken record here, but again, it's the long-term planning, strategic planning and initiatives. I just really want to set goals and see what we can do with this, with our budget, with the revenue that's coming in, and how we can make serious investments in our community and get a good return on our investment. So I think just, again, the planning process. The second thing I'd like to look into is potentially hiring a grant writer for the county. The city has one. I think that there is money out there that we could be missing as a local government. And you really need someone to research, write, and maintain these grants. I think to ask your department heads or your county officials, those offices, to look into them when it's not particularly their job. I think that you could still just be missing some money. We are getting some grants, but I think there's money out there to be brought in, and I would love to see something like that happen.
I appreciate your interest in planning and thinking strategically. That's a helpful conversation. It makes me especially wonder if your thoughts and your priorities in January have been influenced by these past however many months it's been, and the influence of the pandemic and how we've had to pivot and manage it. Are the things you've seen come out of that this experience that we're still in, that make you adjust your thoughts about the role of the county council and local government in helping our community?
To be honest, it hasn't made me adjust my thoughts, because I think that the county council is an important arm of our local government, but I think a lot of people may not see that. And I think this is a great time to shift priorities and to really see that you can invest in economic development. You can invest in substance abuse prevention and treatment. You can invest in mental health care. If you're making the community better as a whole, you're going to get a return on your investment, and you're going to see more revenue come in for even more investment in the future from your local income tax or property taxes. That revenue is going to build when you're investing in these very important things to make your community healthy and have good workers, a good workforce. So I think it is a great time, and hopefully people have seen that there can be, that this is a time to shift the priorities and kind of how we do local government, how the county council has done things in the past. It's time for it. It's a new time. It's a new day.
Good perspective. I've just got to follow up and say, you mentioned a grant writer. Are there other functions that you think are missing in our mix, not just in council necessarily, but in how we support the work of the community?
With the county itself, I would say, so county government is just, so a little different than city in the fact that you have so many constitutionally elected officials within county government. And then you've got the county council that deals with their budget. But I still think you could have a human resources department that can help with your paperwork, your hirings, and really streamline that process, and then let these offices and office holders do what they were elected to do. And that's going to help, again, government efficiency. So that's another thing.
I appreciate that. I think that anything else you'd like to share with us? We've got a couple more minutes, and so we'd love to have you share anything else with us, and we sure appreciate this conversation.
Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Again, I've only mentioned it quickly about the substance abuse prevention and treatment and mental health care. I think that is, I know that it is a legislative priority for the chamber at the state level, but I think our local government should get involved as well, should have a seat at the table. We're currently looking at expanding our jail, a potential $85 million expansion. And I think it is absolutely time to be proactive and look at why we are expanding our jail 10 years after we built a new one. What is happening? Why is our jail full all the time? Why are we spending over $1 million a year housing inmates in other facilities because we don't have room for them? It is time to invest in substance abuse prevention and treatment and mental health care and helping our children now to help our future workforce. And I really hope to be a part of that.
Well, thank you so much. I think that's well put, and we appreciate having some time with you, Amy, and we wish you well in the upcoming weeks.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. It's good to see you all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.